explain this wild night in like 1,000 words or less? What was it like?
No, I can't. It's just it's playoff basketball. You have two really competitive teams going at it, and laying it out on the line. And there's just adversity going on both sides, just constantly. And the competition is that intense that it's creating that adversity. I do not have any updates on anybody. Like, we're just going to go back to our cave, and just recoup, and maybe I'll have some information for you tomorrow.
So to that point, is Jimmy going to need another MRI?
No. But I
And-
don't have any other update on him.
And specific to Tyler, we saw he had a wrap around.
Yeah, I don't have information on that right now. But look, we just got guys grinding, gutting through. This is what the playoffs is all about.
Did you hold Tyler out because of the injury, or did you go with Vic as a coaching decision?
A little bit of both. He felt something. I didn't even really get the extent of it. It was so loud in there. So I just went with Vic, and it was Tyler's time to come out for a quick rest anyway, and then we just went with it.
22 shots is a career high for Bam in a postseason game or otherwise. You've often said games like this aren't always what you need from him, but tonight was it what you needed, and did you see it coming in any way?
Yeah, he did his version of what Jimmy does in terms of do what's necessary for the game, and he was extremely assertive. It happened in a lot of moments that were fully in the context of how we want to play. He was just way more assertive on the catch and those moments in between. And it wasn't just the scoring. That's what everybody's going to recognize. But he did so many things in terms of getting us organized, facilitating, playing point guard for us at times, running offense, in the post through him, and then defending like he always does, 1 through 5 against a team that presents, a lot of challenges.
Given the circumstances, have you ever seen Bam play better?
Yeah, I've seen him play, great basketball in the playoffs. I really have. He's a winning player, and he really is the heart and soul of our group. You can count on him all the time. He doesn't get caught up in all the noise and everything. He's just out there competing, playing winning basketball, doing it on both ends and doing what is necessary. And tonight we needed the scoring, and we needed that kind of that offensive punch early on. And again, it was like just on the catch, he was just a lot more assertive. And then when Jimmy was out in the second half, he just stabilized us. It got a little bit gnarly out there, and when it did, we were able to get the ball to Bam and just get something coherent.
Erik, you've talked about the swings in these series from game to game and maybe even quarter to quarter. What has your experience over the years taught you about handling those wild emotions and trying to find just a good space between games?
Yeah, you have to stay present as much as possible. In both buildings, the noise gets extremely loud. We have guys that wear all their emotions on their sleeves. We have great competitors. So it's going to bring out everything, especially when you're playing against a great basketball team. It's going to bring out, the best in you, hopefully. It's going to bring out the anger in you sometimes. It's going to bring out frustration. It's going to bring out disappointment. It's going to bring out everything in between. But you have to stay present, and try to win the next possession. And that's going to be the case throughout this series.
Erik, excuse me. In hindsight, what most explained the start that you guys had? And they haven't been happy with their starts a lot in the postseason. Has that been a point of emphasis to, you want to jump on everybody, but particularly these guys now?
You have two really good defensive teams. Okay, the first game, they gave up the most points they've given up in the playoffs this year. Second game, we gave up the most we've given up all year long, including the playoffs. So they were extremely angry and disappointed after giving up 118, and our guys, aren't used to giving up 127. So we knew we had to establish, a defensive mindset, and we were able to do that, from the beginning. But then also we were able to be efficient offensively, which helps. That just kind of fuels your defensive efforts. But you have two really competitive teams, and the margin for error on either side is not. It's so small that you gotta stay the course through all the emotions and the ups and downs.
But we talked a lot about Max the last couple of weeks and how much confidence the group has in him. What does it say about him to be able, in that moment late in the game, to hit that kind of shot?
Yeah, it was a big shot, and we wanted him to be assertive. He offers a different kind of menu, to our offense. So we were going to Bam in the post, going to him with the elbows, running our normal pick and roll basketball, but we want to access, different parts of our menu, and Max and Duncan, Tyler, they provide a different part of our menu, and that was really important. Even the triggers he was creating throughout the course of the game, but he's fearless. So even in a moment like that, he thinks the whole play is being run for him, and you appreciate that kind of confidence.
Go ahead with Zoom. We'll take one from Zoom. Anthony Chiang, go ahead.
Hey, Spell. Regarding Vic, he didn't play in the first half, but just in the second half, how important was his on-ball defense just to help fill some of the void left behind at that end by Jimmy?
Yeah, I think everything about it, it just speaks to his competitive character. That was not easy. We went with a slightly different rotation because Kyle came back. That is going to force some changes throughout the rotation. So he didn't play in the first half. We've had so many guys that have had to take on different roles and sacrifice. We say it's always easy to sacrifice when you're not the one doing it. And he's had to sacrifice, many times, and that wasn't easy. That wasn't necessarily the way we were going to go the first half. It just, things were going really well. We just kept going with that, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have somebody Jimmy is not going to go in the second half, and then him to be stable enough and not be frustrated and not be rolling his eyes and like, oh, okay, now I get an opportunity. He's just steady, stays the course. He's made himself available, made himself vulnerable through this whole process. He's prepared behind the scenes, and his minutes in the second half were so important defensively. Against their two studs, and then offensively, he just gave us a facsimile of a lot of the stuff that we do at Jimmy. And I mean that as the ultimate compliment.
Any more?
Did you think that Jimmy wasn't moving well in the first half, just with eyeballs, what you saw from him?
Yeah, he didn't have his normal explosive burst. He's been able to manage this, and I think the next 2 days will be really important, obviously. But he's a great competitor. So even when he's out there, he was able to be efficient and he was able to defend. His competitiveness will overtake everything, and he's going to put it all out there. And at halftime, really, the trainers, made the call. I just feel like we've been in this situation a lot with a few of our guys. We almost have to restrain them, and we get it and we love it about them, how they're wired. But we also don't want to be irresponsible.
Following up on exactly that, you guys have had plenty of experience with it, but if Jimmy has to miss a game,
I don't even want to go there yet, Nick.
what would change the most?
I don't
without
know.
him?
Let me get back to our cave and assess. I literally haven't even had a chance to talk to our trainers, and then I'm getting cursed out if I talk to our trainers in front of our players. That's why we love the guys in the locker room. Okay, thank you.
All right, open it up for questions for Coach.
Ime, I know it's not one guy in a game like this, but what leads to a night like this for Jayson, and how do you just try to shake him out of a funk when he gets in a win this big?
Well, understanding how they're going to guard him. Just had a big game, game 2, and all they talked about was, upping their physicality, being embarrassed at home, and that's what we spoke up about, not being caught off guard or complacent or content with getting a win at their place, and understanding how they're going to guard guys, be physical, and we didn't match that from the start. It looked like we were, kind of wilting to their pressure and started complaining to the refs, and took us out of the game from the start, but disappointing to come out that flat in the conference final game.
And I know big thing for you has been breaking the habits, whether it's the complaining, the turnovers, just all the little things have kind of creeped back in here. I know it's not going to happen overnight, and sometimes you fall back into those, but what's the key to just shaking those, on a night like this?
Having carryover from what's been successful for us throughout the playoffs, throughout the second half of the season. And, we saw it in the Milwaukee series at times. We saw it in game 1 and game 2, the difference between, 10 turnovers in game 2 and what that can get us to. And so when you have, turned the ball over 24 times, and gift them 33 points out of that, dig yourself a hole. Credit, we fought back and got it to a 1-point game. Then made some mistakes and some more turnovers, but you dig yourself in that big of a hole due to playing in the crowd. We understand how they're going to guard us. They do it all series. Every team does that. Wants to load up and you penetrate, over-penetrate, and get yourself in tough situations instead of relying on your teammates. That's the result sometimes.
I'm sure. Everyone around said that the series might be over after the game 2, and you were the more talented team. All that stuff. That's not what you told them. You told them that this was going to be a difficult game. So what happened between the message you gave them and what happened on the court? What didn't translate?
It's hard to say because it wasn't just myself. It was the players speaking up as well. They said it in the media. They got embarrassed at their place. They were going to come out and up their physicality, and it's no different than what they did in the third quarter of game 1. And so, we didn't think that it's going to all of a sudden be an easy series and they were going to roll over. We bounced back from game 1 to 2, and they were going to do the same thing, and we had to match that and came out flat for whatever reason. But it wasn't just myself. It was Marcus and Jayson and Jaylen and Al all speaking up and shoot around, speaking up in the meetings, saying be prepared, knowing they're going to come out with their best hit, and for whatever reason, we didn't match that to start the game.
And in terms of schematically, what didn't happen in terms of not the turnovers, but just other things? What didn't you do that you did in game 2?
Guarded with some physicality, or they increased theirs. We also talked about Adebayo been struggling in this series. He's going to come out extra aggressive, put his head down. We didn't match it. We had been playing physical defense initially and kind of limiting him, obviously, but other guys as well. And for the most part, it felt like they were continually driving. We weren't getting rebounds, and so they out-hustled us 50-50 balls. But it was a concerted effort on their part to put their head down and try to be the more physical team, and they were on offense.
You made the third quarter in game 1, the first 20 minutes tonight. What would you say is the biggest commonality between why those stretches keep happening?
Turnovers that's one part of it, obviously. We had 8 in that quarter, 8 of 10 at halftime. We said let's clean that up, and we almost got our first half total in that quarter. And then defensively, not matching their physicality on offense. We turn it over. It's obviously tough to get some of those stops. And when we do defend well in the half court, so leaking out, getting some easy baskets, but also just their physicality went up. And obviously they spoke up about being embarrassed and wanted to come out and prove something tonight, and they did.
A follow-up on Marcus, what he went through, and any comments from him after the game of how he's holding up?
No, I don't know anything yet. He obviously came back and played. Looked like he rolled an ankle. And Jayson got a stinger, but they both were able to continue and finish the game. So I'm assuming they'll be okay.
Lowry comes back immediately, is pushing in transition off of rebounds, and they just kind of kept running the entire night while you guys tried to keep up. What was it about the way that they were just persistent with their pressure and their speed that affected you guys?
Well, that's what he does. We talked about that before the game. That's the impact he has on the game. But when you give him 24 turnovers, it's obviously a lot easier to get out and run, and he's the head of the snake as far as that, pushing the pace and tempo. But we made it too easy on them in that regard. Obviously getting stops or scoring the basketball, they can't get out and run to that extent. But scoring 33 points on our 24 turnovers is hard to overcome.
You have Jaylen kind of routinely, when you have these high turnover games, routinely over penetrating. You have Jayson, they're routinely jumping the passing lanes. Is there any thought of kind of like intervening just with the play calling to try and get the ball and try to get them the ball maybe on the catch rather than have them handle the ball?
Yeah, we've done both, use them as screeners and handlers, and at times when they load up on them that much, we want to use them as decoys, and they've done a great job throughout the playoffs and most of the second half of the year of understanding and getting guys open looks. And so disappointing at times when we over-penetrate when we don't have to. Simple pass, the team loads up, and we've seen it all playoffs and how they can others can be the recipients off of that. So, we took a step back as far as that, but at the same time, we obviously use them as screeners a lot of times, try to find them in the pocket and get them moving around a little bit differently. And they're still loading up on them. They have to obviously catch it, be tough with it in there, had quite a few turnovers on pocket passes, and then make the play from there.
Coach, your guys have responded with a win after every loss in this postseason. Will you use that as some of your messaging going into Game 4?
Yeah, I don't really talk about the bounce back as far as that. It's just what we are trying to do, what we did the second half of the season. And even in this game tonight, you can look at some positives, how we got, like I said, got it back to a one-point game and then kind of shot ourselves in the foot again, giving up a three-pointer and some late turnovers. But, it's two quarters that really stand out, 39-18 to start the game, 39-14 in Game 1. And you get yourself in that big of a hole and, fight your way back. It's always tough, but we have bounced back well second half of the season, playoffs as well, and so we know we have to do it again at home.
And Coach, especially after a game like Bam Adebayo had tonight, I'm sure Rob would definitely have helped in that situation. Are you expecting to have him back for Game 4?
He's truly day-to-day, and we'll see how he responds to extra time off, but it's due to swelling and soreness, and it's likely to be like that the rest of the playoffs, and so that's one thing, but we've won series and games without Rob, so Adebayo kind of put his shoulder into whoever was guarding him, into their chest, and so Rob can't save the day as far as that. Guys have to, take ownership of that matchup and defend like we're capable of.
Ime, over here, do you have any concern? You mentioned the message that you gave to the team and that teammates gave to the team. Do you have any concern now when you look that there's a pattern of your team having a difficult time handling prosperity and coming back with the same edge after a really good game or a really good performance?
No, I wouldn't say it's, we talked about not being content with or complacent with where we're at and getting a win on the road. So I don't think it's as much as that. It's, more so a little unusual being caught off guard with physicality. It's not like they changed much schematically. They just upped their pressure, upped their aggressiveness on both ends, and we didn't match it. And so I don't think it's due to our success or us getting the road win. We had success, obviously, in the Brooklyn series and in Milwaukee on the road and did well. So it's more so just matching that physicality because that's what they've done in two quarters that really stand out.
Two things quick, Ime. Why did you start the game with Daniel, and then why did you go with Grant to start the third quarter?
Daniel, we talked about our size and keeping Al and the others in their role with the coverage that we want to, employ to start the game, and that's, keeping Daniel off ball more so and keeping him in Rob's role allows Al to do what he does instead of flipping him and Grant. We liked, obviously, the scoring aspect, and we obviously got off to a poor start, so we flipped that to start the third quarter and paired Daniel with, Dedmon going forward in the second half. So didn't love the look at the start tonight, and we'll figure out what we're doing if Rob's not available.
And you talked all year about physicality being something you want this team to play with. Is it disappointing to you that as you go into the series knowing how physical Miami plays that you're not able to match that so far?
Yeah, I mean, we have at times, and, like I said, two quarters really stand out. But obviously we had a 25-point win as well, so we were good in that regard the other night. It's just that's a big part of who we are, and we've kind of, fallen off as far as that in certain aspects in this series so far, and got to come back and match that. That can't be the reason we lose the series. That's obviously an identity we want to have on our side, and to come out and kind of get bullied around a little bit is disappointing for sure. Thank you.
Max, everyone searches for that playoff moment. The game, 26 up, 1 point game, you come down and hit the three and show every bit of the emotion of the moment. Take us through that sequence, how much it meant to you and how much you felt it meant to the team.
Yeah, we just needed a basket in general. They were making a run, and I think it was a 1 point game at that time. So, in the timeout, Kyle said, let's run a pin down for Max. Let's get him open. So when he said that, I had all the confidence in the world to step up and make a shot. So just shot my normal shot. I got 2 great screens from Bam and PJ and hit a wide open jumper. So obviously it was a big shot and big momentum killer for them. Max, we both heard about and we've seen how tough-minded you guys have been all season long. So is there any bit of you that was surprised that you were able to respond to Smart coming out of the hallway, Tatum coming out of the hallway, the Celtics making a run? Every push they made, you guys had a response. Was that surprising in any way?
No, this was brewing from last game. We got embarrassed at home. We had a bad taste in our mouth, so we wanted to come out from the jump and show that we were here and we're going to keep fighting. So through all the ups and downs in the game, we just stayed together and kept battling. Through adversity, we've been doing it all year. So it's been next man up mentality. Vic played great today, and we just had guys keep stepping up and made big plays and got the win.
Max, how many times have you seen Bam play better in a basketball game than tonight?
I've seen Bam play like that a lot, but tonight was special just because of all the noise and all the criticism he's been getting. For him to step up like that was huge, and we need it. As you can see, it helped and was obviously the huge part of why we won. So, we need Bam to step up like that, and we're going to keep relying on him throughout all these next games.
Max, what would change the most for you guys if Jimmy isn't able to come back and play on Monday?
That's something we're going to have to get to the drawing board and figure out. Obviously, losing a big piece like that is huge, but we'll figure it out. We got a lot of guys in this locker room that are willing to step up and able to step up, and we got a great coaching staff to put us in great situations. So whatever it is, we'll figure it out and get it done and be ready for Monday.
Max, Erik kind of just spoke about this, but there were so many different ways that Bam impacted this game tonight. What was the area that most stood out to you? I mean, was it the scoring? Was it the dishing?
It was just his aggressive and assertiveness, just from the jump. He got in the pocket and he went to finish. It wasn't just laying back and shooting floaters. He was being physical. He was getting to the rim. And he was just involved a lot more, and we need that. We need him to be involved in a lot more actions, and that's his game. That's how we're going to make him better, and he's going to be good for us.
Max, with you especially offering that anecdote about how Kyle told you it's your time, it's your moment, and that play got created. You guys always talk about Kyle, when he's missing, how much he means to you. When he's there, how much he makes things easier. What's it like to have him back, and even if he's not 100%, just to have him whatever percent he was tonight?
You just want me to talk good about him because he's in the room now?
We're both afraid. We're both afraid of him. So please.
Yeah. No, he's special. Obviously, having him back helped, especially on a night where we lose JB. So to have his leadership and playoff experience was huge for us to keep us grounded and keep us, keep everything positive throughout it all. So he's been in these moments plenty of times in his career, so to have him here with us is huge. Thank you.
I don't want to sit in his seat. I don't know. Stupid. All right, here we go. We good.
Kyle, how did it feel to be back? How did you feel being back? And sort of, what's it like? You finally get hold. First game in who knows how long, and then all of a sudden Jimmy, and then Tyler gets hurt. Just sort of the whole whirlwind tonight, because it certainly seemed like a whirlwind for you in the Heat.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't pay attention to your question. What was your question again?
To rephrase.
I swear, I'm sorry.
To rephrase. What was it like to be back after missing 4 games? How did you feel when you were back? And what's it like, as I said, when you thought you had everyone together and then you lose Jimmy and then Tyler gets hurt also? That whirlwind of the night.
Yeah, felt good to be back. You know, I just wanted to be able to have an opportunity to play basketball. You know, I've only played 4 games before tonight in the playoffs, and you know, it's tough trying to find a rhythm, but just having an opportunity to be out there with my guys is always fun. You know, injuries are a part of the game, and that's the part that sucks about the game, the injuries. You know, and you know, this is tough, but you know, Jimmy's a warrior, Tyler's a warrior, but you know, we got to continue to stay focused on what we did and as a group tonight, and hopefully those guys will be back and ready to go next game.
Kyle, was tonight an example of you, the coaching staff, the team, getting Bam going, or was Bam taking it upon himself tonight to get going?
Bam took it upon himself. I mean, he was coming out there aggressive. He really, like, just, you know, he was focused tonight, and he really took it upon himself to, you know, be aggressive, be assertive. You know, we made some adjustments, and we did some things to figure out, you know, how to get him going. But you know, he made some mid-range jump shots. He got going, quick moves, stuff like that. So it was good. It was good for Bam to have a night like that, and you know, we got to continue to get better.
Do you necessarily want to see him take 15, 20 shots in the next game?
I just want to win. I don't give a damn how many shots he takes. You know what I mean? If a win is a win. You know, he takes 5 shots, he takes 22 shots, he takes 10 shots. It don't matter. As long as we win the game, it's a team effort. It's not about individuals.
Kyle, are you feeling 100% or close to it? And how tough was it to be patient the last couple of games in terms of not wanting to re-aggravate it and sitting out and waiting till the right time?
It's a good question. You want me to answer? I feel fine. I'm out there playing. You know, this has been a process for me. It's been a long journey, you know, with this type of injury. You know, my training staff, our training staff, our coaches, you know, our organization, we've been on the same page and communicative with everything, team doctors. And that's the most important thing, is that we're all on the same page. And, you know, going forward, we're going to continue to have open dialogue, open communication, and just continue to find ways to, you know, help me be on the floor.
Kyle, you didn't personally take lumps in Game 2 the way your teammates did, but
Bam just gave me middle finger, y'all.
They talked about you know, wanting to come out assertive and aggressive, and what was your approach to trying to get off to a good start today?
Just play the game. You know, that team's a hell of a defensive team. They got the defensive player of the year. They have a second team all defensive guy in Robert Williams. Al Horford is a really good defender. Grant Williams is a really good defender. Tatum, Brown. They're tall. They're aggressive. But for me, it's about the pace and getting us easy looks, because, you know, trying to find some, you know, relief baskets is huge in this, you know, in this series. And, you know, that's what got them going in the end of that half, with Tatum getting a couple layups, fast breaks. And, you know, we got to find ways to just separate ourselves a little bit and get easy buckets.
Kyle, what have you noticed about Erik and the coaching staff, especially after losses in games where you need to respond the following game? What does Erik and that staff provide?
You really call him Erik? Wow. Spo's awesome. You know, I think his constant communication, his constant, you know, upfront, you know, always, you know, being open and you know, just making sure we're all on the same page. His game-to-game adjustments, his psychology of what, you know, he thinks we should do and what the other team may do, is always, it's crazy to see it. And he's really good at just being a open and upfront coach.
All right, this is going to be the last one.
Thank God. Gosh. Yeah, looking like Will Smith back there, Men in Black. I see you, Stanley. Looking like Men in Black. I see you, boy.
Kyle, you've been in the league a lot of years.
Damn, dog.
A lot.
Hey, thanks.
A lot of teams in a similar spot with all the injuries and the issues that you guys had to overcome might have just rolled over in that moment in the second half. What is it about this team that allows the mental toughness to keep pushing forward and close the way you guys did?
We found a way. Something about this team is just that we have guys that are, hard workers. Udonis always tells, he always says, we all got it the hard way. All of us, a lot of undrafted guys, a lot of lower round pick guys, second round guys. We all found ways to make, this our living and found ways to, do our job at a high level and, to be here and to stay. And that's big for us. And a team like that, just got to keep going no matter what happens. At the end of the day, if you put your heart out there and play hard, you got to be happy and you just got to live with the results. And that's what we do. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Guys, since you're up there together, I guess I'd like to ask Bam when he realized this had to be a night where he had to Bam, you had to sort of take charge a little bit. And PJ, for you to answer then after that, just what's it like to see a guy like Bam seize a moment when that kind of moment is needed? Bam.
Well, in the previous game, as everybody know, they beat us like we stole something. I mean, that should wake anybody up. Getting beat like that at home. From my point of view, that's, that says it all.
Regardless, we need Bam to be aggressive and make plays for himself and for everybody else. The way our team is built, he triggers the most probably out of everybody. And his versatility just opens everything up for everybody. You got to tag, you got to be there when he gets, the roles, offensive rebounding, like he's such a force in his versatility that, people got to be there, and then it helps open the threes up, be able to get in the pocket, pick and rolls, all that stuff. So it's essential for him to get going, and it was good to see him get going early because I knew, it'd be a long night.
Bam, was anything changed in the offense tonight in terms of play calls that helped you get going, or did you just take this upon yourself?
Nah, same old play calls. Just different mentality. Like I said, they beat us like we stole something in game 2. So I mean that woke a fire up in all of us.
Bam, I know you're good at reading the game and knowing when to be aggressive offensively, but was there anyone in your life, in your ear, close to you the last couple days encouraging you to take a more aggressive offensive approach?
Nah. My camp kind of leaves me alone, but UD's the biggest person I can say. He can impact the game so much without even being on the court. He'll do it for any of us, and so definitely UD.
PJ, Coach joked that he can't not play you, and that if you even see him talking to the trainers about you, like you shoot him a glare. How hard was it to get out there? We see the way you walk in and out of other places, and how meaningful are these moments that no matter what it takes, you want to be there?
Well, I'm thankful to have a teammate like PJ. He's one of those guys where you'll have to cart him off the court for him to not play. And, I appreciate that. My whole team does, and the organization does.
Thanks, man. You play enough on bad teams where you start making vacations in December and January. For my 16 years, a lot of the early ones was like that. So to be fortunate enough to be back-to-back years in Eastern Conference Finals, to play in the playoffs every year, to get far. This doesn't happen, and you never know when you're going to get back here. So you're going to do everything you can to be there for your team. I told guys tonight I didn't know what I had, but I was going to give them everything I did have. And that's it. There's no regrets. There's no nothing. Leave it all out there and try to get the win. And, I love the energy we came with. Everybody that stepped on the court came and gave everything they had, and we've been doing that all year. So it's just a part of our culture.
Your depth obviously showed even losing Jimmy. What, I guess, PJ, for you, what did Vic provide in the second half? Obviously 4 steals and a lot of other good stuff.
Vic, it's usually his offense. Everybody, he comes in and be a spark. But his lateral slides and quickness and his hands, it was unbelievable. I told him tonight that was some of the best lateral foot speed I've seen anybody have. Because Jaylen Brown he gets going, especially right. He's tough to get back in front of, and for Vic to square him up was unreal. He gave us a spark, and we talked about it at half, knowing that he was about to start the half and play. And to not play at all and then step in and do what he did in the second half, that level of professionalism is not, it's few and far in between. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Clouds matter to people.
All right, we'll take one from Greece. Christos Saltes, STNA Greece, go ahead.
Hey, this is my dog.
Hey, guys,
This is my
congratulations
dog.
on the win.
Listen to him.
Bam, question for you. You set the tone as a team from the first minute of the game. You respond after a Celtics run in the fourth quarter. That win and the way that you won tonight, how big was that mentally wise for you for the rest of the series?
I mean, mentally wise, it's I feel like everybody walked into this arena, locked in from the jump. Like I said earlier, they beat us like we stole something earlier. So just having that bounce back mentality and being able to execute and finish the game, I feel like that's a plus for us.
Thanks.
Questions for Al?
Hey, Al. Turnovers seem to be the common denominator when you guys have a game like this. Just what do they do to get into you that well and to disrupt you?
They from the beginning, their pressure felt like bothered us, and we didn't respond. It's happened to us a couple times this playoff run, and it's something that we continue to fight, and it seemed like every time we put ourselves in a position, we turn the ball over. So we got to look at the film tomorrow, see how we can be better for Monday.
Al, 39-18 in the first quarter there. I know the turnovers was one part of it, but Ime said you guys just came out flat. How do you kind of explain that in a game of this magnitude?
Well, the reality is that, I guess, that could happen. It's, we have to be better, but, that's something that can happen, and we have to understand we need to, simple as that, we just need to be better. We need to come out with more sense of urgency. I think coming back home, you tend to relax a little bit, and I feel like we did that at the beginning, and then finally in the second we started to play a little bit. So you can't spot a team, this much points. It's tough. And despite that, I felt like we were in position there to win the game at the end.
Ime said that at shoot-around today, you were one of the players who spoke up, just saying that the response from the Heat would be a lot better after the way the last game went. What was your message about that, and why do you think you just weren't prepared when they did come out like that?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to give them credit. You know, they were, it's like a wounded animal. Like, you know, they came out fighting, and you know, for whatever reason, we just didn't have that same sense of urgency. So I'm just very looking forward to watching film with the guys tomorrow. We can get to see some of the things that we can do, that we can clean up, how we can be better, and go from there.
You said you guys tend to relax at home. You know, usually, especially in this building, you think playoffs, it's a real boost. You guys haven't been very good here so far in these playoffs. Why do you think there is that, I don't know, relaxation? Do you kind of assume it's going to be easier than it really is, or relying on the crowd more than you should, or what? Why have you gotten that lift that maybe you would normally expect?
Yeah, I think, you know, we are excited to be here. We are excited, you know, for our fans to rally behind us. But we need to, you know, just to your point, be more consistent at home and come out with the right sense of urgency. And it's something that, you know, that we need to be better starting Monday.
It's everybody. It's not just one or two guys. But when Jaylen and Jayson struggle like they did tonight, how do you try to pick them up as teammates and, you know, get the team on their feet when the two best players are struggling to that degree?
You know, they do a lot of things, you know, for us. We put a lot on their shoulders. You know, score the ball, make plays for others, pass, defend. It's just a lot of things that go on, and you know, it's a challenge. You know, it's not easy, and you know, they've done such a good job all year, and we rally, we try to do things. You know, if for whatever reason that's not going well for them, we're trying to get them going. You know, be a boost there, but it's not easy. It's not easy. It's a lot being thrown at. It's a lot to kind of in the moment kind of figure out. But you know, I have the most confidence in my guys, and time and time again this year, you know, they figure it out. You know, Jayson figures it out. Jaylen figures it out. You know, those guys are battle tested, and I believe they'll be fine.
Al, it seems like when you guys are turning the ball over a lot, there's a lot of trying to do too much, over-penetration, holding the ball, playing in a crowd. When you guys are playing your best, that ball's moving around, no one's holding it for too long. Why do you think, despite that being kind of clear, the trying to do too much keeps happening?
I'm not sure, but the one thing is, because, you know, well, game one, third quarter got away from us. Game two, we were much better. You know, I just want to see sometimes you think you just played a game, you're thinking about things, thinking about plays, but for me, I just get a much clearer picture when I'm able to watch the film and just kind of see and understand, and you know, we'll have those discussions. We'll kind of go from there, and like I said, you know, I do feel like our guys always figure it out, and you know, I believe we will.
Same vein, but you guys figured it out with the film after that game, and they kind of once again were able to just sneak in and steal a lot of balls just by kind of jumping out of nowhere. What is it about the way that Miami operates with the way they blitz and pre-rotate that just makes it hard to see coming when it still can happen?
Yeah, they're a team that's gonna, they're gonna hustle. They're gonna make it tough, and I just want to see what it is. But Coach Udoka's been doing a good job with us all year, making adjustments, and especially in the playoffs from game to game. We see things that we need to fix, figure it out, put it together, and move forward. And I expect us to do that for Monday.
Thank you very much, Al.
Thank you, Jaylen. Questions for Jaylen?
Jaylen, Ime said everybody knew that Miami was going to respond. They were going to be different. They were going to play better, and they felt embarrassed in game two. What happened when you guys fell behind 39-18, 46-20? What exactly happened those first 20 minutes?
We started out flat. Seemed like we was looking around too much instead of playing the game, and they got it going, and they got stops and made shots, and we didn't in the first half, but we didn't match their intensity out the gate.
And your personal turnover, it seemed like they're just kind of grabbing at the ball, knocking it away. What can you do to be more secure with the ball?
Just be stronger. Did a shit job today, taking care of the basketball, but just being stronger, driving. I'm going to keep being aggressive. I'm going to keep getting to the basket. I'm going to keep doing what I do, but be stronger when I get in there. They let a lot of stuff go tonight, especially when I feel like I drive and I get to the basket. I feel like it's two hands on me all the time. I don't ever get those hand-checking calls, but I don't make excuses. We get better. I did a shit job taking care of the basketball. Today I got to do better.
And some of those turnovers, Jaylen, you get caught kind of over-penetrating. Is that a function of you do you think maybe trying to do too much, or do you feel like you're trying to make a play? What's going on in those particular situations?
What you think? I'm trying to be aggressive, trying to make a play for our team. We were down 25. We was playing with a lack of emphasis. We need to play with some heart, some aggression. I tried to come out in the second half especially and just be aggressive and just ignite our team. Some of them led into turnovers, some were unforced, some from fatigue, but, you don't make excuses, you get back, and you be better for the next game. But I'm aggressive, and I'm going to continue to be aggressive. I got to the basket whenever I wanted tonight. Just got to make sure that, as a unit, we're all ready to play from the jump.
Jaylen, you guys pride yourselves on being the more physical team, have throughout the year. Is it disappointing to you that through the first couple games in this series, you guys haven't been able to consistently be the more physical team against Miami?
Yeah, it is a little bit, but we knew who Miami is. That's what they pride themselves on, is physicality. So if we want to win this series, we gotta match that intensity. We just gotta man up. Bam was too comfortable in the paint. They lose balls and seem to just bounce in their direction, and they outplayed us tonight. First half, we dug ourselves in the hole. Second half, we still had opportunities, and it just seemed like everything was going in the opposite direction. But you come back next game on our home floor, try to get a win.
They pushed the pace right away. Kyle Lowry was kicking ahead right off the first play of the game. It looked like you tried to start one-man breaks as much as possible to keep up with their pace, but why do you feel like the whole collective team wasn't able to maintain that same pace all night?
Just one of those games. We didn't come out with the right intensity, or we didn't come out with the same intensity as them as a unit, and it showed. They came out all connected with urgency. Defensively, we gave up a lot of points. Defensively, we got, they were more physical than us, and it showed in the first half especially. And then we tried to dig ourselves out in the second half and fell short.
Wrap it up right there. Thank you, Jaylen. Thank you, Jayson. We'll open up for questions for Jayson. Gary?
Jayson, first of all, what happened with your shoulder, and how are you feeling now?
My neck got caught in a weird position. Obviously, I went down and felt some pain and discomfort in my neck and down my arm, and then went to the back, got it checked on, and started to gain some feeling back, and got it checked by the doctors and ran some tests, and decided to give it a go.
No field goals in the second half, just 2 points. What did their defense do to you? How didn't you attack, or what happened tonight?
obviously they played well from the beginning. But, 6 turnovers and, no field goals in the second half, that is, unacceptable. Honestly, I got to play better. I feel like I left the guys hanging tonight. That's on me. And, I acknowledge that. That was a tough one.
Jayson, Ime, Al, Jayson sort of all said you guys just didn't come out with the same urgency you had in game 2, even though it had been talked about that, Miami was going to come out sort of like a wounded animal and give you their best. Do you have any sense, or can you put your finger on why you guys didn't come out with the same sort of attack mode you had in game 2?
Why? I don't know. I wish we would have, honestly, clearly. But, especially first game back at home, there's no excuse. You can't spot somebody 39 points in the first quarter. Obviously, we was trying to overcome that the rest of the game. So we got to be better. Starting the game, for sure.
Jayson, you guys had, I think, the second most turnovers all season long. Was there anything that the Heat were doing to you as a team to kind of, mess you guys up on that front, or do you feel like a lot of those were just self-inflicted?
I guess you go half and half. Obviously they're a really good, scrappy defensive team, but a lot of those were some careless turnovers as well.
Jayson, when you guys end up falling behind like that, do you feel like there's a tendency to get caught up in trying to answer their baskets or trying to make plays like outside of what you're normally running for the offense? Do you think something like that is leading to some of these turnovers?
That's possible. Playing extremely fast, trying to get it back. But every time we came to the huddle, we talked about, we can't get it back in one play. That we just gotta keep playing the right way. It's not gonna just happen snap of our fingers. But obviously human nature plays a part. You're down so much, you just want to get back so bad that you can just kind of move a little too fast sometimes.
Jayson, you mentioned, like you said, you left the guys hang tonight. What are the things that you can do, like in bounce-back games? Like when you see a game like this where you're defended like this, what do you do to go back and say, hey, things are going to be different next time I'm on this floor?
To answer that question, I got to play better. It's as simple as that. This time of the season, everything on the line, I just got to play better.
And with Kyle, did you feel like he gave them a lift at the start? Kind of seemed their energy was a little bit different out there. And then obviously the Jimmy being out in the second half, just kind of having a steady veteran like that to kind of keep them going.
Yeah, I guess, they were happy to have Kyle back tonight.
Jayson, just want to know, how are you feeling physically before the stinger? Was there anything that was bothering you? I know you've said you have to play better, but it seemed like it was an uncharacteristic night for you. Is there anything else physically going on with you at this point?
That's it.